All right, three, two, one, and we're back for what
Woo!
may be the second to last or last episode, depending on how long we chat for. My name is Shaib, and with me I have the lovely Shanique. Shanique, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. How are you doing, Shoaib?
You know what? I'm doing really good. I'm gonna tell you what I've been up to, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So basically, I recently completed something that I really wanted to do, which was obtain Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3, the premium collection packages that only came out in Japan. I know, I
Ooh.
know, I know, I know. You know what? It's been a struggle. Okay, so I know we spoke a little bit before, but I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail now, more about the game specifically, because I think we were talking about more existential crisis related stuff. But yeah, so we were talking more
Brilliant.
existential related crises related to the thing. But I'm gonna talk about the actual object now. So basically, obviously, I went to Japan. I'm pretty sure we spoke about that, and I came back, and the main thing I was looking for is obviously Metal Gear Solid related stuff, and I managed to find one thing physically, which was Metal Gear Solid 2 Premium Package, right? And that was really cool. I can literally remember the day I went in. Actually, when I went in to physically grab that, there's one other item I saw that to this day I'm thinking maybe I should have bought it. It was a Tekken 3 Fight Arcade stick for the
Mm.
PlayStation 1. Yeah, and you
Ooh.
know what? It wasn't even the item itself, it was the art on the front. I was looking at that and I was like, oh, this looks. I think it had like Jin on the front and it had like Eddie Gordo, and I was like, oh, this actually looks so. It just looks. It just looks so great. I was like, oh man, maybe I should have got that. But then I was thinking, you know what? How am I gonna package it? And I've already got so much stuff, and I remember it was quite a good price. I think it was like £20 or like $20 or something like that. Like it wasn't even like breaking the bank or anything. But I just was.
Oh, that is good.
I know, but you know what it is? I was so like focused in on the stuff that I wanted that sometimes things that were just like away from my list just didn't make the cut. Funnily enough, I did manage to buy a Tekken 3 like original PlayStation 1 game complete. So I think because I
Mm.
already had that, I was a bit like, this is a bit extra. Like I already have something, but anyway, back to the Metal Gear. So obviously, I managed to get number two, and now recently I got number one and number three. And we spoke about this before, but it's actually so hard trying to buy this year. I might on my channel, unrelated to travel, unrelated to anything else, I might make an anti-counterfeit video about this stuff because it's so hard. It's so hard to know what's counterfeit and what's not counterfeit because they
Mm.
look so immaculate. It's uncanny how good they look. So what I did with you, but I'll talk about it now, is that I also got a Time Crisis Complete in box, Time Crisis 2. So I was like looking at the cardboard and like trying to inspect it. I was like, okay, it came out in the same year, like, it's so hard to wrap your head around because there's barely any scratches on the item even. Like you would think
Mm.
25 plus years. Okay, Metal Gear Solid 1 is 25 plus years old. Metal Gear Solid 3 is at least since 2008, so we're talking like the better part of 10 years, more if not more than 10 years of like just being in storage somewhere. And luckily for me, the two that I received are like borderline immaculate. My Metal Gear Solid 3 premium package, there's nary a scratch on it. There's not even a dent on it, like anything. And my Metal Gear Solid 1 premium package, there is a dent which they informed me about. They told me about it. They basically said there is a 15 centimeter dent on the product. Do you still want it? And I was like thinking, I was like, having some back and forth. And then in the end, what I settled on was I was like, you know what, let me have it because it's still a good price. And ultimately, like any item I get from that age is likely to have some damage. And you know what? I received it, and that is it's more like a like the cardboard is slightly bent. It's more like something like
Mm.
that. And but the rest of the box, like when I look at it, I can see it from where I'm sitting now. When I look at it, it looks brand new. It's insane how like perfect it is. Um, so I got that, the Metal Gear Solid 3. So the Metal Gear Solid 3, inside the box, there is a damage, which actually makes me happy. Yeah, because all of the premium packages I've seen, they're all consistently had this kind of damage. So I think it was a defect. They weren't. I think they miscalculated the weight because they include. It's like a box
Mm.
within a box. So because there's another product
Yeah.
inside, the other box is like heavy. It's like heavier than they expected. So it was probably fine for like a year, but it wasn't made to basically house this other box in a box for the course of 20 years. So when I saw the damage
Yeah.
on the inside, I was like, it makes me feel like it's more real. Um, and then, so I open it, right? So, sorry, like, this is like my full, like, Metal Gear nerddom out on display, yeah? But, like, I open it, and the casing is, like, immaculate, and I'm just trying to understand, like, how could you even counterfeit it now? Like, there's almost like nothing. So I had a Sonic Heroes video game, PlayStation 2. So now we're talking like similar era, like, we're talking that kind of, anything between like, I don't know, like 2000 to 20. I can't remember when Sonic Heroes came out, but I'm sure it was similar time frame as like Metal Gear Solid 3 or something like that, right? So now I'm looking at the Sonic Heroes like case. I'm like opening it, and I'm like looking at the case. I'm like, is like, because I'm thinking like, okay, the plastic must be scratched. This must be done. This something, right? And I look at the disc. Now I'm looking at the Metal Gear Solid disc, right? I'm looking at the disc and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, there's barely a scratch on it. I can't wrap my head around it because I could have sworn. Now this is my tech nerd coming out, yeah. I could have sworn
Yeah.
the laser on the PS2. I could have sworn it was scratch prone, like that it was prone to provide like making scratches on the discs. And I was like, I swear.
Really?
Well, not necessarily because the laser is a bad laser, but because if the console itself moves, it's more likely to cause a scratch. Or if you eject it too quickly, so say for example you just finished playing it, you hit reset, then eject it, then you're trying to take it out, like because you're doing the thing, you're adding a level of movement, it could cause scratches. Now, look, we're talking like the likelihood is maybe 10%, 15%. It's very low likelihood. But
I'm so curious now. I want
but
to get up and go and look
yeah,
at my
yeah. But
PlayStation
in
disc.
okay, it's very low likelihood. I'm not saying that this is like. It probably happened to my discs a lot because I was like an impatient person. So I would like hit reset, press the eject, grab the disc, and like so I would grab. It's like the console is still resetting, and I'm like ejecting it. So like when I get it out, the disc is still half spinning. Like, do you know what I mean? So
You rebel.
yeah. So like, but again, even in those conditions, it's still such a low likelihood of it to scratch. But that's not 0%, is it? It's still like 10% or like even 5%. It's not 0%. And so when I'm looking at these discs, I'm like, they look factory fresh. Like I can't fathom it, honestly. Like, I'm gonna have to make a separate video. Like, is my the Metal Gear Solid 3, the outer box, it literally looks perfect. Like, it's crazy how crisp. Like, once this is over,
I'm not
like,
gonna lie. I still have my PlayStation 2 box with all the packaging and all of the like booklets in my cupboard. And I went and looked at it the other day when we talked about this,
yeah.
and I was like, wow, I should display this box as a display of how well I've taken care of it. Just frame it and just put it up on the wall.
You know what it is?
Because I didn't realize that that wasn't normal for people to just like take care of their boxes
Okay.
and like put them up so they don't get squashed or like bent in some way.
You know what? It's not that it's not normal. I do think it is normal, but I think when you introduce a time factor of like 20 years,
Mm,
then that introduces a level of uncertainty. So I'll give you an example. Yeah, obviously I've relocated. So even my
yeah.
prized possessions are now in a storage that I don't necessarily have control over. So if someone were to add more things into that storage, like it adds, it's just so many levels of uncertainty that it just gets added on, like, and we're talking over the course of 20 years, like, and
Mm,
you gotta even factor in, like, Japan has like a lot of unnatural disaster, like, sorry, natural disasters. So, earthquakes and all this kind of stuff, and again, you're talking
mm,
20 years, like, it baffles my mind. I don't know how they've done it. I'm grateful because I own him now, and I'm super grateful. But it just, yeah, and even the cardboard is like, look, there's so many factors. Sun damage, the cardboard deck like getting oxidized, or anything like spills, like, just, your cousin comes to see the item, and something's happened to it. But yeah, like, you know what, when they like, so I had two other issues when they were arriving. Yeah, basically I had
mm.
no photos of them. I had zero photos of the products, right?
Ooh.
So I was basically going off of gut instinct, yeah? Like, purely just pure vibes. Literally, yeah? So like, the only reason I had a 80% like um likelihood that they were in fact the correct items was purely based off price. That was it, right? So basically, Metal Gear Solid
Okay.
1, in theory, it shouldn't really cost you, even in Japan, let's say a complete in box shouldn't really be like more than like 30, £40, or like, yeah, so like 40, $50 or something like that. So my premium
Yeah.
package was coming up to the cost of around $100, or like £110, or whatever it is. So I was thinking, there's no way. There's just no way someone's selling me keep in mind, this is like a secondhand store. This is not like a it's not like an eBay, or this is like a physical store in Japan. Like, I've been to this store. Like, they're like they buy and sell like secondhand goods. So I was like, there's no way they're selling me this item, and like, they have it labeled as premium package, but you don't. Premium package could mean anything. To be honest with you, it could mean 20th anniversary. It could mean the special edition version, the integral like, there's a lot of things it could mean, like, because Metal Gear
Mm.
Solid 1 has had a lot of re-releases. So in my understanding, I would feel like, yeah, hopefully it should be this, but it could have equally been like the re-release, the this, the that. So that was one thing. Same with Metal Gear 3. It was like, I think it was costing me around like $70, or like £60 or something like that. But again, like, a complete
Right.
Metal Gear Solid 3, not premium, should maybe be like I want to say like $20, $30, like a little bit cheaper, because the games that came out later, they like sort of made um like, they made what do you call it, like, they made more of those, so because we're in the PS2 era now, so they made more, right? um
Okay.
so yeah, I do have an unboxing when I like first opened the package, and I was like, I was really happy. I was like, okay, these are the items I was hoping, because basically I sent it. So you could ask, like, oh, couldn't you do this? Listen, I messaged I messaged the company, like, the before, like, so the original company that had the product. I messaged them in Japanese. I messaged them in the international version that they had. They didn't list it on the international page for some reason, and the one they did list on the international page, they only had one product, and they decided that that product was worth $200. But then on the Japanese page, it was like 100 each. So I could get like basically three items for like half the price. But then the Japanese version, when I messaged them, can I get pictures? They said, no, you can only get pictures when you decide to buy the item. And even then, it seemed like he was
Oh.
being unsure about sending me pictures. So eventually, when I got to the proxy shipping company, which I figured out that, by the way, somehow I lucked upon the best proxy shipping website like for Japan. It's called Zen Market, not sponsored, but you should definitely use them. Whoever's listening to this, whenever you are, Zen Market are actually legends, right? Because now this seems a bit counterintuitive, right? Sorry, I know, I've been talking for a minute,
No, no, no. Go
but
ahead.
this is like a lot happened, right? So basically, Zen Market, right? This seems a bit counterintuitive, but they want you to upload like to their own wallet. You know how like Starbucks have like the like a loyalty card, and you put money on the card instead of paying them with cash. I don't know if you know that, but they do that, right? So some loyalty cards do that, where you update the thing. So I'm on this website and I've never used proxy. I'm like, I don't know, like I don't know if I want to do that because like I don't know you. You're just gonna have like my money hostage. But in the end, I was like, you know what? They seem fine. Let me do it. Like I'm gonna have to figure this out one way or another. So I upload like 50, $60, whatever it is. Order all these
Yeah.
items through the website, and they were legends. Yeah, they would literally like send screenshots of like, is this the right product? Da 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 da. Sending me like messages and like communicating about everything. This is when I realized the wallet, the on website wallet, is amazing because so I gave them the links, everything like that. I ordered Metal Gear Solid 1. When they put the order through for me, everything got rejected, right? Everything got rejected. So they sent me a screenshot. Basically, the original company, even though they had it listed, it was when they went to check, it was actually sold out, right? So in that location, so
Oh.
it's like location specific, it was sold out. But what Zen Market did was as soon as it was sold out, they automatically refunded my wallet on their website. So I had an instant
Okay.
refund. Like, so if this was for my PayPal or something, it might have taken like 3, 4 days. But the second that they weren't able to buy it, they just put all the money directly back into my wallet, like my online wallet. And I was like, that's great because I can now instantly make the next like so this website, like the one I ordered from, they had it in multiple locations. So I was trying to pick locations where I thought they would have low foot traffic. Because to me, if you
Hmm.
don't have a lot of foot traffic, yes, this is as a Metal Gear fan, this is what I went through. I went through all of this. Right? So in my mind, I was like thinking, I was like, okay, if they don't have a lot of foot traffic, that could mean that it's like a rural area, and I trust like a rural area like person to look after the item more than like a city slicker, because you might have to move more or
What?
you know, you know, I was just thinking, I was like, this person, like this item has a less likelihood of moving or being relocated from a lot of different places if it's in a rural area, right? That's how I was feeling.
You might be right. I feel like it's the opposite.
I don't know, but that was my working theory, okay? that you know
Okay, no, but it works. So maybe you're
you
right.
know what? I'll grab one of the boxes now, yeah. I'll grab one of the boxes and I'll show you, but that was my theory. And also another theory was this was the main thing of the theory, which was if you pick a rural area, it gave my purchaser time to buy the item. If I bought somewhere like in Tokyo or something, then
Hmm.
you're kind of running the chance of like someone's gonna walk in, see the item, buy it. But if it's a rural area, people are not really. They already don't have interest. Otherwise, it would have sold already. Like some items, I had eyes on the listing for like 20, 30 days and they weren't getting sold.
Hmm.
So I knew
Yeah.
they don't have an
Okay.
interest in that area as well. So my buyer had time to buy it. So so yeah, and all the items came. I unboxed it. Everything was present that I expected to be present. I think some of them were missing a warranty card, but I don't think that's super common either. Like to still have those. From what I could see, they were like a bit rare.
Hmm.
And I think my Metal Gear 1 is missing one booklet from a demo. So basically, anyone who bought that, they were basically able to get a demo of Suikoden 2. So I think it's missing that booklet, but it's not actually related to Metal Gear, like the actual game. So
Yeah.
like I feel okay. It's kind of it was like maybe like a oh like learn about Suikoden. So it's like okay, like and again I think a couple of them didn't have that, so I feel okay. But I'm just so surprised. Like the stickers are all there, the dog tags are there, the T-shirts there. Let me okay wait. Just wait there like 30 seconds. I'm gonna come back and I'll show you the box. It's so you know what? It's actually so hard to open this. But look here. This is the 15 centimeter dent they were talking about. But my plan is
Mm.
I want to use this as like a line for an autograph, so that it looks like it's like underlined the
Ah.
autograph. So like that's my idea. So I don't actually dislike the dent. I'm kind of like it's okay. But like the age of this item, right? You just can't. Do you see what I mean? It's actually insane. Like, and look, I don't know which side this was on, but this is like the bottom side. Like, this is what I mean. Yeah, like I was trying to open it, and it's like like again, that's not too bad, right? That's you kind of
Yeah.
expect a dent there because that's where it's been opened from. But I'm trying to open it, and I'm like borderline causing more damage to it than whoever opened it last. But honestly, it's like it's actually insane. I'm gonna show you the back, but it's actually insane how well kept some of this stuff is. But this is what I mean. It's so hard to see like scratches or anything. Anyway, um, so yeah, like basically, this is what I've been up to in my gaming. Not really gaming, but sort of gaming adjacent stuff. Um, I've also been playing a lot of Metal Gear recently because I wanted to 100% all of them. So I've 100%ed
Mm.
1, 2, and 3. I think I'm 90% on 5, and I think I'm like 70% on 4. And I
Okay.
wanted to do those before the remake comes out, which is Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is a remake of 3. And basically like yeah, I wanted to play the okay, so this kind of goes into something I want to talk to you about. So so yeah, I want to 100% those, and then obviously Delta's coming out, and then that's going to be great. So okay, so there's a lot of discussion around like 3 Delta the remake, right? And
Mm.
I'm gonna list some off list the things off to you first, and then you tell me what you think. Yeah. So one of the things is not having Kojima involved. That's one very
Hmm.
important thing. The other thing is um, apparently the frame rate is bad on PS5 Pro. So ironically, it
Mm.
runs better on the base PS5, but there's some theories about I think there's some PlayStation AI upscaling that is not working very well. That is only on the pros,
Mm.
but they're also saying it could be Engine 5, which is what Delta's made on, is not very well optimized allegedly, but I don't know the facts on that. So Kojima and the second thing, right? So um, okay, basically, yeah. The way I feel. So this is what I want to ask you about. The way I feel about this is that I feel like people just love to like have. I feel like people just love to dislike things these days. Like I feel like some people come out like everyone. I feel like everyone is so skeptical and just they love to like dislike things, and it really like annoys me because really and truly, Metal Gear Solid Snakey Delta, which is the remake, right? I'm just going to
Mm.
refer to it as Delta from now on. If I say Delta, just know it's the remake. And
Yeah.
with Delta, right, the thing is, like, it's basically a very faithful recreation of 3, right? They, like, from what I've seen and what the comments are, I've tried not to spoil myself, even though it's a remake. Like, I just want to see the visuals the first time, like, when I'm playing it through. And I can't help but feel like everyone just has, like, such a. They just have such a interest in wanting to be a hater of things these days. Because really, they didn't change anything. So where's the hate coming from?
I think honestly, I feel like it's the content farm, which I
Yeah.
don't think we really talk about often, but it is that thing of the and I've heard like YouTubers that I like say it, that they don't tend to do videos on things that they like or enjoy
Right.
because not as many people watch them. Whereas like the way the algorithm is set up and the way that things are at the moment, saying that you hate something actually brings more people in because they want to argue with you. And it's just like I actually would more like to know what you liked.
Yeah,
And
honestly.
it's sad because they're like, but no one watches it. And it's so interesting because obviously there's that percentage of people that aren't actually following you that watch things, and those are the people that come usually for the negativity. And
It's
it's just
it's
like
it's so frustrating, honestly, like
it is
because
because then I also sorry, go
no,
on.
go on, go on.
I also feel like there are some things that it's like actually this was pretty good and it's not going to get found, it's not going to get developed, or it's not going to see the right audience because everybody's hating on it just because they're picking on it. As opposed to like just an honest review of like these things were not good because come on, anything to do with technology, there's going to be
Yeah, of
issues. It's
course.
just the way
Yeah,
that
of course.
technology is. But it's appreciating that just because there are issues doesn't mean it's bad. And also there's a podcaster that I like, and she says this thing where she's like, just because you're criticizing something doesn't mean that you don't like it. It's like I feel like the games you love the most, you can definitely critique like where they've gone wrong and what they could have improved. But it doesn't mean that you don't love it all the same and won't be like spending like hours playing it. It's just because you love it, you can see its flaws.
Yeah, you know, the technology point, I think you make a very good point because people are like criticizing Unreal Engine and it's like not optimized and everything like that. And you know, even the same with the PS5 Pro, like it is technology, like something is gonna go wrong there. You're right about that, I think. I think, you know, when I look at this, I kind of look, and you know, obviously I'm going to be biased to a certain level. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not biased. Like, you know, I literally just showed you the premium package from like 20 years ago. But there is a couple of things that you know, I think there's fair criticism when it comes to, you know, why is it running badly on PlayStation 5 Pro? Like, if anything, it should run the best on that. You know, but at the same time, like, you know, I do feel like in a year's time it's going to be irrelevant because we're going to have so many patches that make it, you know, make it what they want it to be, that it's not going to necessarily matter.
Yeah.
You know, should you have shipped it like that to, you know, fans? Like, we are probably just like, I know I am, I'm happy to have it. Like, I'm happy to, like, I'm excited to play it. Like, I'm happy that it's in the, you know, it's in the news cycle again. Like, I'm happy to see it, I'm happy to see it on my content again, you know. So like the fact that it's dropping like a lot of frames and stuff, that's, you know, that's here nor there. And I think yeah, tech, you know, the other thing I look, so there's two ways I look at it, is like the view of technology and then the view of like, you have to look at it, why do they pick Unreal? Because I do think that you're okay. So you're in a meeting, right? And you could have a really good answer for me actually. I'll ask you how. This is how I think it went down. Yeah, you're in a meeting. You are now one of the heads of Kojima Productions. Right? Oh, Kona. You're one of the heads. Okay, Shanique, you are now bestowed what the head one of the head programmers of Konami. Right. My question to you is
Okay.
this: which engine which allows for licensing. Yeah, because I know some people have proprietary engines that they won't license out. Which engine do you pick that your team? Let's say you are the head. You're the head data person, right? You're the head programmer. Which engine do you pick? Now I'm gonna add one other thing, yeah, not to be rude to the guy, but you're also now old as well. Yeah, we're gonna say you might be like 60s, right? So I've also made you old now as well, sorry. But the point I'm trying to make here, I'm trying to make a point, you'll see. The point I'm trying to make is that, okay, you're the head programmer, you're a bit old, you have a young development team, let's say they're mid 20s. Which program, Unreal, sorry, which engine do you use that you can foresee them using for 10 years minimum? Yeah, because if you're going to do Delta, if you're going to do 3, the idea is you're going to want to do the whole saga, because 3 is the beginning, by the way, right? 3 is the
Mm.
start of the whole thing. So in theory, you're going to want to do, you know, 1, 2, 4, and 5. So which engine do you pick that is resource rich and also has a very high likelihood of continuing on for the next 8 years, that also will allow your legacy knowledge to be moved on to the next platform? If you had to invest, which one would you pick?
Unreal.
No, I don't. I genuinely don't know. By the way, I'm not. I'm not supporting. I'm not supporting his decision of using Unreal 5. I'm just trying to understand: is that the right answer? I don't know.
Yeah, because if you really want something where you don't want to have to change engines, like you were saying, and obviously I'm not the greatest expert,
Yeah, yeah.
but if you want to focus on like making something that's just easy, so you don't have to think about changing engines for a while, then Unreal is really, it's not like, it's the industry standard because it's not just being used for gaming. It's like, I'm not a huge fan of some of the actions and the way that they run their company, but even Tesla is thinking about integrating Unreal as a way of doing their, when you're in a Tesla, you have the dashboard that shows you the cars
Right,
around
right, right,
you.
right, right.
They're thinking of integrating that into that so that they can make it more accurate, or something about display. It's also because it's the industry standard, lots of other things are already plugged into it. So, like, even for like my own PhD, because I'm doing like the digital fashion, there's already a plugin for for Unreal. It's already there. It already exists. I can actually just export it straight from the program without having to convert it. And so it's the ease of, like, if you want to add in other elements, or think about integrating things like the PlayStation where those kits already exist, for you to just pop the plugin in and be able to kind of like do the blueprints of the visual scripting, or do like and that's the other thing, the fact that it has the visual scripting already in it, so that you can just like drag and drop things and click them in. And or if you want to hard code it, you can do that as well and swap between. And so it gives you an opportunity to not kind of focus on, oh, you have to be this kind of coder to actually make this game, because there are people who I've met who use Unreal and make amazing things and do not know a line of code, but they know how to do blueprints, which is like a visual scripting where you have like a box and it has little I can't remember what they're called, like little pegs that you can like add things into in kind of like a flowchart format, and then it
Mm,
will show you how it's going to go. And being able to look back at that and be like, oh, why isn't this working, what's broken, and it kind of color codes it for you to say, this actually doesn't fit here, so it's not going to work, or you'll have this issue. And it's being used in digital fashion, VR, AR, simulation, film, product display. um and so even like uh I can't remember what the film is, but there's a film where they've used Unreal Engine as like the backdrop, while the actors are acting in front, and the backdrop is moving in real
Oh
time
yeah, it's
while
like
the
the
actors are
Mandalorian.
acting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's it, yeah. And so it's that element of the everyone's using it, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. I feel I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I love Unreal Engine sometimes. Sometimes it irritates me, especially like from the indie side, it has its issues mostly in terms of the because there are some things that no one's doing. There's no tutorials on them. So you have to
Mm,
kind of like make them up or you as you go along. Or there's so few tutorials that every single person is doing a different thing. Whereas like for a triple A game, you kind of know what you need to do. And also because you're earning that much, you get a different level of the program. And like you said, it's licensable and you've got that help to be like, we need it to do this. And then you've got Nanite and Lumin. Oh, oh, ray tracing and oh, just it's just so beautiful. I love like ray traced reflections. It's just oh, it's so wonderful. And then it also has a huge marketplace of assets that you can just buy from both like to AAA standard to just independent people making stuff on like Maya or Blender. And you can actually buy some of the blueprints and just download them. So like, and some of the logic is already in there. So I know that you don't program, but like for example, with Unity, Unity is like nice and flexible. It has its issues as a company, and lots of people have left it for its practices. But when you load Unity, there's not really anything going on. You have to you have to do everything from
right,
scratch.
right, right.
Like
Modeling and
the I yeah,
yeah.
and like and even like player movement. Whereas Unreal Engine, as soon as you open the like it has lots of templates you can open. So as soon as you open the first person player, it's already or like sorry, not the first person, the third person player, it's already got a mannequin that as soon as you press play, you haven't done any programming, you've just opened it. You can move forward, jump, run, um, like shift movements, and all the animations are already there. And it's not that complicated to just create a model and map it onto this existing skeleton so that you can use all the Unreal animations that already exist.
Mm,
And there's even more animations that you can add on without having to animate your character. And so it's like you've skipped so many steps as long as that animation already exists. And then because you've got things like motion capture, which plugs into Unreal, it does plug into Unity as well, but the I find the plugins for Unreal a bit easier to find and update. But then you can just have an actor moving around in a way that you want them to move, upload that, and just have that animation to make it more realistic and more smooth. And so it's just easy, and it's what everyone's using. And is it the best? I actually don't know, because it's one of those things that what if somebody decided to try and use the like the Cry engine, or is it what's Valve's engine that they use? I can't remember what it's
Source or
called.
something? Source or
Something something like that.
yeah, Source 2 or
But
something. I don't know.
and it's like they if they had the investment of like a game like this for one of those engines could push it into a different
Oh, I see
realm,
what you
because
mean.
it would be
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to invest in things that Unreal already has that investment. It already
Right,
has people that
right.
are like, we need to do this thing. Unreal, no question. And so it's already kind of like constantly evolving, constantly getting
Yeah.
better and adding new things because it has the investment. And because it's free to use and royalties only apply after, I think it's 1 million.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Um, it means that so many people are using it and testing it for them and giving them that constant feedback of, oh, okay, there's a bug here, let's solve this. That and in a way, it's kind of like you're using it free, but it's kind of like most things that are free. If something is free, you are the product. You are the product because you are testing all of their bugs out. And it's like, yes, you get to make a game out of it. You might be able to
Yeah,
get some
yeah.
royalties, but what they're getting from you is constant user testing without having to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's in my opinion, like I feel like that's what they get from it being free, and advertisement, because then people see those games, and especially triple A, if you see an independent game that's like, wow, this was made by one person in a week and it's so polished and it's so amazing, what could you make with triple
Mm.
A investment and a whole team? And it's kind of like, yeah, why would you pick another engine? And if I'm old, I'm I have grown up in the industry. I
No,
know
no, no,
when
no. Wait, wait.
boxy
No,
characters were a
I'm
thing.
trying to say if you are old and you are trying to pass the reins on to the next generation, because the issue is you. So from what it sounds like they're really kind of the McDonald's of engines in terms of they have all the resources, they have all the money. You're probably gonna pick them, right? I think the age thing is
They
more
do have
to do with like which engine has the most long-term capability.
I I do wonder, and I don't know, but I do wonder if someone will overtake Unreal. I don't know if it will be Godot, because uh because of like the controversy with Unity, some people switched over to Godot because Unity does 3D and 2D. And while Unreal can do 2D products, because like I was saying to you, everything is already there when you
Yeah.
start. It's a bit too much. It's so bulky and heavy. Just like loading it on your computer, just like it overheats my laptop. And 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 it's like you need to have the hardware, it needs to be quite high end, and then as it's updating you need to update with it to make
Mm.
sure that you can meet its requirements. Like at the moment I've been looking at a new graphics card and I'm like, oh, i kind of I kind of need a 5090 for what I'm doing. And I was just like, I don't want it because I don't know how much you know about like the graphics cards wars, but and I don't know a great deal, but because of the like so like NFTs and Bitcoin definitely affected it because of like all of that stuff. But oh, AI has ruined the market completely in the sense of the my graphics card when I got it was on sale and it was £300 and it was worth 500. The graphics cards you're looking at now can be in the thousands. And it's just kind of like, and they're going up. And it's just like, because, and some of the performance, it's like, I don't need that. Like, even the 5090, I was looking at it and I was like, I don't need that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, being able to render like at the moment, rendering stuff takes me days. Being able to render something in a couple of hours, like, whew, that would be so exciting. But they're so bulky as well. So it's and it's just thinking about you'd need to have the space, the money, and like the issue with like newer hardware having things like melting or causing your computer to melt. And it's just like that's not insured and isn't part of the warranty, even if it sets on fire. And it's just like I don't have like £3,000 to just burn and be like, well, these things happen. Better get a new graphics card. And it's such a terrifying time because it's like you couldn't use Unreal if you didn't have the hardware. It just won't load, it will crash. And
Interesting.
then it's thinking about if that's the making of the game, where you're just trying to create something, you haven't even got a finished product yet that you've exported.
Mm.
Like you were saying, I feel like there is a challenge in are is the actual kind of like hardware and around it updating fast enough to keep up with it, because trying to downscale that seems to be quite a challenge. And I don't understand the process of downscaling like a game, but it seems to be not working. Whenever I hear about them trying to do it, it doesn't seem to give the same performance experience. And I don't
Mm.
know if it's because they're trying to force you to update to kind of like feed into this market that's feeding into them. And maybe that's a conspiracy theory and I'm talking ridiculous nonsense, but I just feel like especially like with the PlayStation and the consoles, because with PCs, most people are likely to update their PCs because you're meant to update them every couple of years.
Mm.
But with a console, when you buy a console, that is a commitment
Yeah, I got
that
mine
you
for
are
six
making.
years. I'm not
Like,
changing it.
exact, and it's like a PC is not a commitment. It is like a fly-by relationship where you're thinking about, I think that, if you got some work done, we'd be much happier. And it's just like it's maybe a toxic relationship between you and your PC, whereas like it is a better relationship with you and your console. Because I still have my like PlayStation 4 is underneath my desk right now. My PlayStation 2 is in my room. I only do even numbers. I'm waiting for PlayStation 6 to come out. I don't do odd numbers of PlayStation. But yeah, and so I think that I do wonder what that means for consoles because a console is not a PC.
Mm,
And that, and like in your question, it's like, yeah, I would pick Unreal if I was that person. But if I was really thinking about it logically, I don't know if I would pick Unreal. I think I'd probably get a research and development team together to say, what is the best for a PlayStation rather than relying on that this is the greatest engine that everyone's using, we should be using it, thinking about this is what we have, this is its capabilities,
mm.
what matches that, and we can grow with it.
Yeah, see, I think the issue comes. I do agree with a lot of what you said. I think the issue comes when you start looking at things from a, 10-year scale. Even like this, when you start looking at like 20 years of like, how is this gonna hold up? Like, I feel like that complicates it so much. Not saying I have
Mm.
the answer. I'm just saying like, that's such a
No, me neither.
Herculean like thing to try and figure out. Let's end it on this. I have one other question. I'm very interested to hear your answer. How do you feel about Kojima not being involved? I'm interested in your perspective because I feel like you could be less biased than me. So how do you feel like the creator's not necessarily involved with his creation?
um I am really interested to see what they do, and I'm kind of hoping, excuse me, that they take it somewhere unprecedented
Mm,
that people might not expect. Like with the Silent Hill remake where they added a few new things and it's just like you don't know how people are going to take that, but they did it. And it's just like, yeah, because what you're doing is not a re-optimization of a game for a console. You're doing a remake.
mm,
We want to have the nostalgia coupled with some surprises. I feel like that's what a remake is. So I'm really hoping that there'll be things that they can add, maybe things that originally should have been in the game, but Kojima didn't like,
mm,
because it's like his game exists and it always will, and people will always love it. But this can be its own separate new thing, and it's so exciting to think about. And I'm hoping it's not just a remake with like just different music or just using the engine to improve like the animation or the fog or the rain or something. Because I'm like, that's great, but you had an opportunity here to really kind of also build a new fan base, because
mm.
I just feel like a new generation is playing this game. Make it their game. Give it something that's like, this is ours, of our generation. This is our game. This is going to be like their, like what you Metal Gear Solid is to you. It's going to be
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is to them, but now, as opposed to like, oh, this is just a game that my dad played. I thought I'd play it. It's pretty good, and it's like, no, no, no. Pull it. I'm so excited, and I really hope that they're kind of pulling out all the stops, even though I don't know the community as well as you do, whether
Yeah.
they will be angered by this and be like, how dare you put it back the way it was.
I do think I think you're right. I do think it's basically a way for the younger people to have a sense of ownership over the story. And I like the idea. I think it's good. Him not being a part of it, it's hard because sometimes you look at something like Lord of the Rings and you don't necessarily think of the original creator not being a part of that story, or his character's not being a part of that story. So I do feel a
Mm.
little bit of sadness when I think, oh, he's not going to be in it, in that sense. But then I think there's different elements of it that can shine through. Like David Hayter wasn't really the English voice actor wasn't really put in the front of the game's advertising, which is now the reverse. In Delta, he is basically like the face of the game, and that is kind of, I think, a good direction, because I don't think he got the respect he needed. And I think a lot of Metal Gear fans would
Mm.
agree that he wasn't really honored the way he should have been. So it's kind of like give and take. Um, you know, I don't think Metal Gear was made necessarily by only one person, although he contributed a hell of a lot. I
Yeah.
think there was a lot of people involved, and I think it's really hard. It's almost hard. It's hard because on the one hand they're remaking it, so they have to keep everything he wanted sort of in place. So I don't feel it's kind of without him. And in another hand, you kind of have to look at it and say, well, we want something present for the future. But honestly, I'll probably have a more, what's the word, complete view once I've actually played it, because I haven't played it yet. Like, I'm waiting for it to.
Mm.
I got the deluxe edition, so I'm waiting for that to. I opted away from the so I'm not buying any of the premium packages for the new one. That's why I wanted the original premium packages, because I'm not
Okay.
doing the new premium unless there's a package that really like appeals to me. I'm not gonna, like, I have what I have, but the deluxe edition is a bit smaller. It's like, like a DVD kind of thing. So I was like, you know what, I can
Um.
go for that. That seems more my speed. But I think one of the premium package was like a bust of Snake, like from his midsection up, and I was like, it's good, but like I feel like with a statue, like I feel like whenever they come up with a new one, I can just buy that separately. If you know what I mean. Like I could buy like a
Yeah.
specific, you know, type thing. But we'll have to see. I think we'll leave it there for now. Metal Gear Solid episode, I guess. Too much Metal Gear. But you know what? It was really interesting hearing what you had to say about Unreal. I will add one last thing. I think Batman Arkham Knight was made in Unreal, and I think it still holds up today. So, I do think there's a lot to be said that it's not the worst engine in the world, and I think it comes down to the artist who is basically using the paint that is Unreal. But that is it
Yeah.
for now. This is gonna be the last episode for a while. It's been fun talking, and anyone who's listened over the course of time, we appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know. Mostly, I think we wanna. Well, I wanna work on some projects that hopefully can resonate with me a little bit. But that's not to say this is the end. This is maybe more like a long hiatus slash maybe the end. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for anyone who's been listening, really. And it's been fun editing and learning how to edit through the podcast. And OBS has been fun as well.
Has it though? Has it though?
Any maybe final words?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this hiatus. I've got some uni work to focus on. I need to do my like final major project, like as a Unreal VR experience. So my opinion is slightly biased, but I'm also a little bit upset with Unreal at the moment. But that's neither here nor there. Um, and yeah, I'm hoping that you know, we we get to start this up again in the
I
future.
hope so too. I hope
And
so too. It's been fun.
maybe by that time I will have a 5090. That would be exciting.
Yeah,
No one will know but me.
yeah,
It will
yeah.
make no difference to the podcast whatsoever. But yeah, and also going to be working on some website stuff. I want to make my own portfolio website with 3D images. So yeah, I'll be active on my own channel doing that. Probably not for the rest of this year, but
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Sometimes.
Pleasure, Shanique. And that's it. Goodbye. Bye, viewers. I guess. The
Bye.
final, maybe final one. There you go.